gosh, I think I sent I think it was either to you. I hope you never find it.
I hope you do.
I remember it, back in the day, you guys used to have send your fan mail too. And then you guys had, so I sent a hate letter to you.
Oh.
I hope it.
I remember it.
Oh, what's your story? Don't you dare be sour. Clap for Stephanie and feel the power.
Welcome to What's Your Story with Steph McMahon, a WWE and Fanatics original production. So welcome. So excited to have you on.
Thanks for having me.
So it's crazy. Ever since I first saw you at, I think it was around the Mae Young Classic, I was always told what an incredible story you had, right? And you could, I don't know if you could feel it, or maybe just because I knew that in the back of my head, but it made you that much more special when I would watch you. And you were always so talented in the ring, which, you know, I mean, just kudos to you, where it was always so believable. And, you know, I'd love to know who you are, where you came from. We share the same name.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. The funny thing is, Michael Hayes just found out my name. So now you are usually called Steph, right? From
Yeah,
your
usually
friends.
Steph.
But then when
Yeah.
it's Stephanie, it's like, what did I do?
Right, yeah, the
my
full
God.
name. When my mom
Yes.
calls me Stephanie, it's a problem.
So
Stephanie
now-
Marie.
What's
your middle name?
Yim.
Oh, Stephanie Yim.
Yep. So now
When it all goes together, it's a problem.
oh my gosh.
Yes.
It's like now that Michael knows my name, he's like, hello, Stephanie. It's like, what did I do? Tell me what did I do and how I can fix it, please.
Well, so it's Nikki Bella's also Stephanie.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And Stephanie Vaquer and you and
many
me.
Stephanies.
And there's a lot of Stephanies all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It's a good name.
Yeah. It is.
I mean,
It's
a good name.
I will say, just to get it out, the first time meeting you at the Mae Young, I think I caught myself stuttering because I used to watch you as a kid. And I think I told you just because it came out, but I used to watch you as a kid. And it was when you were, I just remember I was 10 years old and you were so mean on TV.
So mean.
And I was like,
So mean.
Daddy, I hate her. I want to fight her. And then meeting you and how sweet you were, that you knew who I was and was just so welcoming and warm to all the girls in the locker room that I wasn't nervous approaching you, but I was just fangirling and trying to figure out how to play it cool. But it was just man, going from growing up watching you on TV and just wanting to fight you to now being in the same locker room.
You don't want to fight me anymore.
Oh my God. Even if I still felt
give.
that way, I wouldn't.
I like that you
Seeing
both.
everything you did, I was like, oh my, I just need one slap and then I'm good for the rest of my life.
Do it.
So it's so cool to just it feels like full circle. And I tell my dad all the time, oh my God, I met Stephanie McMahon today and I met The Rock and Triple H just signed me. Oh my God. And my dad is just, really? That's really cool. Because we would watch as a family
That's what I was
growing
gonna
up.
ask, yeah.
Yeah, we definitely would sit around, watch Sunday Night Heat and
Right?
just
Sunday Night Heat, I remember that.
right after dinner,
Yeah.
watching Sunday Night Heat. So it was a family thing. So growing up, seeing, actually getting to meet everybody that I watched on TV, and everybody has been so kind. And
Yeah.
especially, it's always the heels that make the sweetest people. And it's I
don't know what that is.
I know.
But sometimes that's true.
so getting to meet you, I was like, oh my gosh, she's nothing like on TV. And
Well, thank God.
Seriously.
I tell everybody, meeting you has been, and this is not just me kissing ass or anything, but meeting you has honestly been a highlight because it was very intimidating after doing, I think I did 2 tryouts and always got told the Not Right Nows. And doing the Mae Young and seeing you there and actually getting to talk to you and you actually knowing who all of us were. You did your studies and knew what we did. And that alone made the meeting unforgettable just because growing up, it's like, I'm just a regular person. And it's still to this day shocking when people come up to me asking for pictures or, I'm mixed too. It's nice to see someone mixed like on TV, and to reminding myself like, oh my gosh, I am, a public figure, but I would have never thought being in that position, like getting to meet you guys who I idolize and look up to, and just how welcoming you guys were. It was a blessing. It really is a blessing.
Oh my God. Well, the blessing and the privilege it's all mine. Truly. Like when I think about as well the women who were coming through NXT at the time and where they came from, it was so eye-opening for me too. Right? It's like the whole women's evolution that has happened in our industry has happened because of every woman who's ever stepped foot in the squared circle, no matter what promotion that is. And for a lot of women, it was not the best of promotions or experiences for various reasons, lack of resources, whatever it is. And to really think about how hard that must have been, for some, and especially if you have kids, and you have to go on the road and leave your child and you're pursuing it to live your dream, right? And sometimes you don't get paid a lot of money, right? And I've heard you had to decide between like training, eating.
Oh yeah.
Or like what were you going
Gas
to do?
money
How
or
were you going to do it?
Oh yeah.
So I'd love to learn more because all of you just earned my respect in so many different ways. And the struggle is so real. And how you get from there to here.
Yeah. I always consider myself lucky to get into the wrestling business when I did. I think the generation, so I started training right after high school, like 2007, and then I had my first match at 2009. So I was in...
And you were also going to school at the same time? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I had a scholarship for volleyball.
And there's water right there if you want it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. There's a lot of talking earlier today with them kids.
We talk a lot about iconic stories on this show. And when it comes to sports entertainment or professional wrestling, no stories are bigger than the ones written by WWE legends. Superstars like Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, trailblazers like Trish Stratus, and factions like the NWO and DX. Their legacies are unforgettable. And if you want to wear that history, you need the real deal. That's why you've got to check out WWE Shop and Fanatics. They have the ultimate lineup of official WWE Legends merchandise. We're talking classic graphic tees, premium vintage hoodies, and retro gear. Whether you're hitting a live show or just repping your favorite era on the street, Fanatics has you covered. Don't wait. Head over to WWEshop.com and Fanatics.com right now and grab your favorite Legends gear. What did you do earlier today?
I went to the USO base and did a tour around, got to see like the Thunderbirds Museum and talk to the kids.
That's
and
amazing.
Actually have lunch in the Chow Hall, which
All
was
right.
really, it was
Yeah.
cool. And they had the selection of food.
Was good?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah?
In my head, I'm thinking high school
Right,
cafeteria.
right,
I was like,
exactly.
okay, we'll
Yeah,
get
no, I always
pizza
think
and
that
like
too.
a box milk and some
Right,
veggies,
and
you
some,
know?
some graham crackers.
But they have
a
burger.
gross orange.
Oh my gosh, you're right. Oh, tapping into those
Mystery
old memories.
meat was always,
You don't ask questions. You just
like
eat
number
it.
5.
But no, they
Yeah.
were eating good over there. So
Well,
it was nice.
good.
It was
Good
nice.
for them.
But coming in like 2009, 2010, I'm so glad that was the era that I came into, because I know my dream has always been to come into WWE and become a wrestler. However, back when I was watching, it was the Diva era, which
Right.
is, it's just fine.
It was
built,
an attempt to put a spotlight on our women.
Yeah.
It maybe
yeah.
could have we are in a better place now, as you
You
said.
guys are so strong, mentally and emotionally. Just because I can't imagine, because I've always been a tomboy, and I always would rather play football outside with the boys and play Barbies inside.
Right, me too.
So seeing the action, that is what I wanted to be a part of,
Right,
the storytelling,
right.
the action. But then the highlight was, love triangles or bra and panties matches and stuff. And I get it, but also watching as a 10, 11, 12-year-old.
Right.
And then when I started getting older and telling my dad, like, that's what I want to do. I want to be in WWE. So his mind is just,
Bra and
you are
panties.
not
Yeah.
going to be
Yeah.
doing Playboy. You are
Right,
not going
right.
to. And it's like,
Yeah,
no, I
it was
wanna
a different
wrestle.
time for sure.
I
Yeah.
couldn't that's why I'm so thankful coming in when I did, because I felt that in the indies, I did a lot of hardcore wrestling, intergender wrestling. I just wanted to be treated equally. I wanted to be looked at as a wrestler, not a female wrestler. I just want to
Right.
be looked at as a wrestler. So I wanted to wrestle like the guys with no special training wheels, or I don't want to be treated differently just
Right.
because I'm a girl.
Right.
So coming in and being able to train with the guys, and I feel like back then too, that's the norm anyway. Like
Right. If you were
always-
going to get the chance to train, it was going to be with the guys.
exactly.
Yeah.
And the first 3 months when you do first start training, they try to break you.
Sure.
Try to see if you're even tough enough to belong in the
Right.
business.
Can you hang?
Exactly. So
Yeah.
it's, hazing and bullying and all that stuff. Being usually the only girl in the training school.
At least you know what to expect.
Right, exactly. But to me, I'm like, being bullied and hazing and stuff, going through being a mixed kid growing up in LA and stuff and moving to DC, that is nothing to
Is
me.
there not a ton of mixed kids in LA? I mean, it seems that way.
Now. Now. I
Not
know
then.
me and my sister, we had each other. Because I moved out of LA around, I was probably 10 or 11. And we moved to DC because my dad was working, in the FBI in the gang unit in LA. And then he got a
Like
job.
undercover?
Yeah. There were,
That must have been very scary.
we didn't understand much. We
Okay.
just knew that we couldn't tell people what our dad did.
Right.
We could tell people that he was a cop and that was it. No
Right.
details or anything.
And how did your mom handle it?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you. She handled it with such grace that she hid a lot of things from
Wow.
us.
Wow.
Because my dad would be gone a lot for birthdays and Christmases, and she would make it special where even though we missed our dad, it wasn't a sad time because my mom went out of her way to
She
make
made it so special.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And she covered a lot of there was a case in China that my dad had to go to that was like a hostage case. So he had to be gone for a while to save the daughter and everything. But
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. It was crazy.
So what happened? I mean,
So-
that you're allowed to say,
Well, now that I'm old enough and
right?
so-
And the statute is probably way gone.
Yeah. And the thing too, that now that I'm older and understanding why my dad told us and shielded us from a lot, now that I'm older, I get it.
get it, yeah.
Because back then, because he has locked up a lot of people, he always told us, whatever you do, don't
Don't
tell people.
associate with me. Yeah.
Right. Because
I don't want anybody coming after you because of
Exactly.
me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
because
his-
that would be the best way to get to him.
Exactly. Because
Yeah.
he has put a lot of people away, and we were looked at as we could be hostages in the future
Yeah.
or whatever the case may be, just to go after the FBI or him or whatever.
And was there any training you were given? Were you told anything specific not to do or to do in a given scenario?
Be as loud as possible. My
If
dad.
someone tries to grab you?
Yeah, my dad put me and my sister in Taekwondo. Oof, I don't even remember the year, but I know my whole childhood. It was just self-defense, Taekwondo, and keeping up with that with Muay Thai and boxing and things. But a lot of self-defense classes were taken even as children, because even after the LA era with the gang unit, we go into the DC era where my dad took a job to be a part of the missing and exploited children's unit. And that's when That's when the overprotectiveness
Really
times
went
10.
in. Yeah. Because he learned how bad it is.
Yes, and this was when social media wasn't really a big thing. It's starting, like the internet was starting
Right.
to grow and things like that. So he's starting to see a lot of the dark web stuff and a lot of crazy cases that, you know, we weren't allowed to be on the internet. And if we were, he had to watch what we were doing online. And I think we only had an hour of screen time a day, which is now being older, I'm glad that
Right. Yeah,
you know,
for
that
sure.
was,
For sure.
but
at the time,
yeah,
feels unfair, but
yeah,
you don't
The Sims
get
just
it.
came out. I wanted to
Yeah,
play The Sims.
exactly.
but it was like seeing, I remember getting chewed out because I really wanted a hamster. When I was a kid, I really wanted a hamster. So I would just scroll through the internet, just looking at different hamsters. And my dad lost his shit because he thought I was like, I was in the deep web, because as you're scrolling hamsters, you know, you're thinking it looks questionable.
Right.
So my dad,
Some people do questionable things with
Yeah.
hamsters. But you were an innocent child.
Yeah, I just wanted a hamster. So
yeah,
he,
you
I
just
think,
wanted a little pet.
right.
Yeah.
So there were certain things where he would overreact, but I wouldn't understand why. But now I'm
Tough one to
older.
explain.
Oh, yeah. And I'm glad he didn't, because I would just be too scared. So both my parents were really good with taking care of us and making sure that we weren't growing up too fast and being a kid, still being able to watch wrestling. But there were still, like, everybody was, oh my gosh, I'm aging myself. Like the MySpace days. Everybody was
I was around
getting
before all of it, so don't worry. Before cell phones, yes.
Oh God, cell phones.
Yeah.
I remember my first cell phone. But yeah, so it's like everybody was having a MySpace page, and we were allowed, but we weren't allowed to post pictures of ourselves. So we had to do the whole cartoon.
Yes, I know
posting
exactly what
cartoons.
you're talking
Yeah. So it sucked at the time, but now that I'm older, like, I thank my parents so much, because
They did a great job.
they really did.
Yeah.
The world is so ugly, and they protected me that
Yeah.
I was like, the worst thing in my life is I couldn't have a MySpace page. you
Right,
know?
yeah.
So
that's a good thing to be able to complain about, right?
Yeah.
When your dad was seeing like the worst of the worst
my
as a
God.
parent. So
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah, I
kudos to
can't
him.
imagine.
There were a lot, like, I remember, so I used to eavesdrop a lot when I was a kid, and my parents would talk.
We call it listening.
Yes, I was a great listener.
Great listeners.
I was a great listener, but I remember, like, my dad was telling, I think they were arguing or something, but something along the lines of, I heard my dad saying that he just had to save a kid from the dark web, and she was like in a dog kennel and had words, I'm not going to say what, but like words written all over her. It was just being abused, and he just had to save her. So, like, how could my mom, like, let us do this or whatever the
Right.
case may be? And when I heard that, I was just like, you can't pit somebody in a dog cage. Like, I was so oblivious.
Yeah.
I was like, that makes no sense. But
It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't happen.
It really shouldn't. But now, like, that I'm older and my dad's able to talk to us more as adults, and him being able to detail
What
more of the stuff that he
really
went through, it's like, I don't know how you are functioning. Like, a
So I
normal
do
functioning
wonder about
human.
that, right? Like, so professionals who are in this line of work, right? And Elise's husband is a police officer, and your brother's a police officer,
Yeah.
and she can relate in ways that I can't. But I often wonder about the mental health of seeing such awful things, you know?
Yeah.
Especially in the job he took. Like, thank you to your dad for his service in every way, but especially what you have to be willing and able to look at, do your best to solve, but then that little girl has been through a lot.
Yeah.
How do you reconcile what happened to her? Like, how do you then look at your daughters
Right.
and not want to just wrap them in like a giant bubble and never let them out of the house?
So I don't have kids, so I can't speak as a parent, but as that kid, I appreciate so much of what both my parents went through, and especially my dad, because he's still to this day, there's certain things where I would remember something back when I was a kid, like, oh, daddy, what happened during this? And he's still like, I don't want to talk about it.
I can't.
So there's
Yeah.
still some stuff that he can't talk about. Sorry, daddy, if I'm putting your stuff out there. But so there's still some things that he can't talk about, but he's very, I don't know. I feel like he has done therapy. I'm very big on therapy. I still go to
Good.
therapy, and I'm very big on counseling, all that stuff. I don't remember him ever talking about going to therapy or doing counseling, but he's very machismo. I got to be the man of the family. Like I
stoic.
got to be a protector. So I don't think he is.
It's not in his nature.
Yeah. So even if he went to therapy, he wouldn't. I don't think he would tell me about it.
Right. But that's okay.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that. Like whatever helps my dad become the man that he is and to help him
Right.
through all of that. Like I'm gonna
Whatever
be
he needs.
supportive.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know just by asking him certain stuff, and whenever he's just like, I don't want to talk, like that alone is like, okay, it messed you up.
Yeah.
It messed, because I know
How can
he's-
it not?
Yeah, because even I've seen him come home just. I hate seeing my dad cry. And he doesn't cry often, but I've seen him like lose best friends on the field and like coming home from that. So I don't pry, but I know it does affect him. But he holds it so well.
Yeah.
He holds it so well. He's the strongest man that I know, just for everything that he's
God
been
bless
through.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's great.
Thanks to your dad.
He's all right.
Big thank you.
Yes, thank you,
Yeah.
Daddy. But yeah, I think him and my mom is the reason why I am the way that I am. And I give them all the credit in the world because one, I don't think I would have ever gotten a scholarship for college without them.
And how so?
Well, I was a little bit of a problem child.
How so?
Thankfully, it wasn't anything crazy. It was just once my parents divorced. Now that I'm older, I'm like, oh, that really messed me up more than I thought it did. Because I was, both me and my sister, we handled it differently. Where, unfortunately, my sister, she's only a year younger than me, but she's the youngest in the family, and she took on the strength role where she was there for my parents, especially my mom, because it was a rough divorce. So my sister had to grow up to be there for my mom. And I just checked out where I'm like, I'm over this family. I'm going to sneak out. I never got into...
You acted out.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was out sneaking... I hope my parents will watch this.
Statute of limitations.
Yes,
it's all
exactly,
done.
exactly.
We go back to that. Yeah.
Exactly. They don't pay my bills anymore. So
You can't punish me anymore.
So I used to sneak out all the time, and I never got into the the drinking and doing weed. Weed was illegal back then, so doing all of that, I never got into that. But I always liked to sneak out and be out all night, just going to car shows or like the street races, and I was in that scene.
Yeah.
So I would sneak out and come home. Like I figured out, we lived in a 2-story condo. So I figured out a way to get down from the balcony and climb back up from the balcony.
Wow.
Yeah, I had to be
Pretty
really
impressive,
sneaky.
right?
Yeah. So
Is that how you got these crazy arms? Every time you lift your
literally
arms,
gonna
I'm like,
say that.
damn, you
I
are
know.
jacked.
Every time.
Right?
oh my
and
gosh.
veiny. I can see your veins. Like, you look
Thanks.
great. Yeah. I love it. I love it.
Volleyball and swimming.
And your
That's all.
shoulders are all striated. I
know.
Yeah.
I try.
okay.
It's maintenance season. It's talk to me in about a month and they'll all disappear.
No, please.
But thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
The thing is, I've always been vascular too, and I've always been made fun of in my cheekbones, like in school.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
People pay money for those
Literally.
cheekbones.
People's been telling me that. I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's
yes,
true.
Finally, now all the kids have made fun of me. Yeah, now you
shut
pay
their
for
face
it.
up with that stuff just to give a little something.
Oh, they called me a chipmunk in school. Been like, now I'm like, yeah,
Look
I'm
at you
happy
now.
about it.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah, people pay to look like me.
exactly. Like we love it. We love it. But yeah, so it's that was a time. So I was just absent all
Yeah.
of the time, where my sister had to be there for my family, which
Which is very hard as well.
yes.
Yeah.
And me and my sister, we are best friends now. But growing up, once we reached middle school, it was just a lot of clashing.
Yeah.
So she had her friends. I had like my 1 or 2 friends. She was the popular one. I wasn't. And it was just like clashing at home, clashing at, we would pretend to not even know each other at school.
Oh, wow. That's rough.
So, and I think the divorce also didn't help just because
Sure, there's
she
more
had to
separation.
Yeah, she had to deal with all the stuff at home and kind of be the anchor where I was like, bye.
Yeah.
And just didn't care anymore.
Well, you cared. That was just your escape.
Yeah. I was just, to me, I'm like, oh, I mean, it could have been worse. I could have gotten into worse stuff.
Sure.
I'm like,
Right.
I'm just trying to go to car shows and just
Yeah.
while out a little bit. But once me and my sister went to college and had that separation, after college, it was, now we weren't living together. We were able to have the relationship that we have now.
Well, and you did some healing too.
A lot.
Right?
We both did. Like
Yeah.
we both are very big into therapy and stuff. And we talk to each other about everything too with the divorce and growing up and where our problems laid. So we were able to go down to the root of the problem and just finally just have like a good cry, a good apology. And
Wow.
like it was a really good bonding moment. I just hated that it was at
took so
public
long.
in a restaurant. But it took too long, but it was just like, I don't like crying in public. But
Yeah.
fine. But yeah, it was good though. It was really good. So
Yeah.
now all of us as a family, like even though the parents are divorced, we're all very tight, and now we're able to have Christmases together. Where before our parents were not.
Sure. You
for-
don't
for
get
a
divorced for no reason.
while.
Yeah.
And I do think that they definitely stayed together longer than they needed to for us.
Sure.
So I know that they, you do anything for your kids, and I could never be mad at
Well,
them for.
good parents do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So, yeah, that was aside from just like me and my mom, we used to get into it all the time too. And
Is it because are you more like her, more like your dad?
I feel
Or
like
neither?
I feel like I'm more like my dad. The thing with my mom is being as an immigrant from Korea, she still has, of course, the culture in her, which I love and appreciate. But in Korea, it's like the parents are right no matter what. And,
Right.
very
Very different.
And of course, always respect your elders, But like as we were getting older, and especially with the divorce and just so much pent up anger in all of us,
Sure.
her trying to
And kids test.
Yes.
that's what they
Oh, and I
Yeah.
definitely was testing her. I definitely was testing her.
As daughters do.
Yeah, yeah. It was, I think, like me and her clashed a lot because being the oldest one, even though I was still in school, it was like, you can't tell me what to do because I threw it all back at her, which
Sure.
was horrible on my part, but it was like, you can't even like keep your family together. So how are you going to tell me what to do?
Ow.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was, I always would just
Well,
go
you
right.
watched my promos.
Exactly.
This is your fault.
You knew how to be
learned
mean.
from
Yeah, it was
her.
all my fault. It was all my fault.
So I was horrible. I was horrible. And me and my mom are also like really tight. Me and my dad
Yeah.
are really tight. I know me and my mom, we still kind of go at it a little bit, but only because she's still, oh my gosh, I love her, but she still is a mom. And it's
Right?
like-
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
My kids say the same
Like,
thing.
I know.
Mine are too
like,
young to say it.
Yeah, no, it
They
happens.
will eventually. Yeah, I know.
That's what happens.
yeah. Well, I love my mom very much.
Right,
No matter
but she's
what.
always going to try to mother you
Oh, yes.
because that's what we do.
Oh my God.
We mean well.
I know. I know. It's just every time, like, she would come to my shows, and I would stay with, anytime we have shows in DC, I would stay with her for like 3 days. And throughout those 3 days, before SmackDown, for an example, she's just trying to feed me. I was like, Mommy, I can't. I have SmackDown in 3 days. She's like, oh, but you're so skinny. Here, eat. I'm like, Mom, no. And it's
So there's a commercial that it airs in our programming all the time, and it's the Korean aunties, and that it's your auntie is trying to say I love you by feeding you.
Yes.
Is that like I
It's
see that commercial all the
accurate.
time? That's
It's
true.
accurate. It's very true. And I didn't realize that I picked up on that trait from my mom because me Shayna and Jessamine used to live together, and every time we go out to Korean barbecue, I'm the one that's always cooking and making sure they eat before I start eating. And it's Shayna's favorite. She loves it.
That's great.
Yeah. So I love I don't cook at much, but Korean barbecue, that's my
got
bread
it.
and butter.
Yeah.
So I just love being able to like feed them until I could tell they're gonna go into like a food coma.
Yeah, and then
I feel
you can eat.
yeah. I'm
Okay.
like, oh my God, I got that from my mom. Dang. Okay.
It's funny, actually, the older we get, the more you realize these traits.
Yes,
Yeah. Or the
yes.
things you say, you'll say an expression and you're like,
Yes.
oh my God,
It's the commercial that's like when you're turning into your parents.
this is the funniest
so
commercial
true.
ever.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
so
it's
true.
spot on.
I love that.
Today when I had to like we all had to like talk to kids and they're like what's something inspirational or like motivating to keep you successful, and of course I was like, well, for me it's punctuality. If you're on time, you're late. If you're early, you're on time. And I was like, oh my God, I'm my dad. Shoot.
Where did that come from? The #1 sports fan festival, Fanatics Fest, returns to the Javits Center in New York City from July 16th to the 19th, 2026. Fanatics has just announced the return of Fanatics Games, bringing back its high-stakes cross-sport competition where everyday fans go head-to-head with some of the biggest names in sports.
The 2026 Fanatics Games introduces an expanded format with a $2 million total prize pool and new nationwide qualifying opportunities for fans to compete alongside elite athletes. The inaugural winner, Tom Brady, as well as reigning fan champion Matt Denish, will be back.
WWE superstars Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Cody Rhodes, and Jey Uso will also be joining the competition for a shot at the title. Head to fanaticsfest.com to apply to compete or grab your tickets to Fanatics Fest. You don't want to miss out. And so which branch of the military did your dad serve?
Army.
Army.
Yes.
And like what was it like growing up with a military dad? Was he still in the service when you were growing up and then he became FBI? Like at what point did he
I want to say he was still in the military, but I was a baby when he transferred to the FBI. But we still had to move a lot.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I hate moving to this day. But it was like we would get settled, and then a year later we would have to go somewhere else, and then
Yeah.
we'd get settled, and
and
then
you start to make friends and
yeah,
then, yeah.
Oh, I hated moving just for that because when you finally start feeling like you have roots in the
Right.
town, it's like okay, well
Nope,
now it's
we're
time
out.
yeah. Yeah, so that like I'll claim California as my home always and forever. That's where I feel both California and my college life is where I felt like I started to really develop into me. But going from California to Maryland, back to California, to DC, then to Orlando for wrestling, and then Texas. So it's like just kind
All
of
over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, it's cool to say that I was able to travel as much when I was a kid because now the travel for us,
Hey,
I'm
yeah,
like,
prepped you.
yeah.
You're like, yeah, no, this is no big deal.
Exactly. Like, I don't know where I'm going, but I'll be ready.
And how do you think, like, moving around so much, you're exposed to a lot of different cultures, right? Because there's, culture from where you come from, where your family comes from, but then there's also like a local culture,
Yes.
So which pieces did you love? Like, what did you take from each place you lived?
Let me tell you. Well, so California, I really loved because at least back in the early 90s, there was a very rich culture in the Black community plus the Korean community. So I got the best of both worlds. However, then there was like the rivalry between the two, and it was like, I'll just stay inside.
I'm in the middle.
Yeah. But during that time too, that was a lot of like my dad was making sure that me and my sister, we couldn't go outside past like 5 p.m. or we could only play. We lived in a cul-de-sac at the time, so we couldn't leave the cul-de-sac. So it was a lot of just like, you can go outside and play, but only until this time, and then you can only
And
stay
only
in
in this place.
Yeah. But then also, an adult always had to be watching just in case, because, even the
course.
neighborhood kind of knew what my dad did and stuff like that. But during like the Rodney King era and stuff, I was like, just you can't go outside and play today. So there were restrictions there, but I did feel I like the melting pot of the different cultures in California. And then we moved to DC, and I felt like a fish out of water because I think my identity started to develop in California. I was a California girl.
Right.
And then going to DC, the opposite side of the country.
Right. Yeah.
And then we moved to a town in Fairfax. And that is like, how do I say this? A lot of white people.
Okay. like
And-
like the suburbs?
Yeah, yeah. And it wasn't bad. It was just different.
Yeah.
So even like going to school, I did not feel like I belonged. And even going to school, there was only like a handful of Black students, and they were all in like a clique. And then there were like a handful of Asian students, and they were all in a clique. And during middle and high school, I didn't really have a lot of friends just because I had nowhere to go. And thank God for volleyball. That was like my only saving
Your
grace.
outlet, yeah.
Because I was the wrestling nerd that I wore like my wrestling shirts all
Right.
the time. And like I got made fun of all the time because I still liked wrestling. But I was a student athlete. So like they bullied me, but not as bad as it could be. And then
Well,
thankfully.
and you were a successful student athlete.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, now
Yeah.
all of them are, oh my God, I knew it. It's like, no, you didn't.
No.
You made
right.
fun of me. I
Right.
remember.
It's all right. It's okay. I remember you.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's like going from LA to DC was just a culture shock.
Yeah.
And it took a long time for me. I didn't feel like I truly belonged until I went to college, just because I was always like the quiet kid by themselves. And then there was one, I will say, hey, Mike, there was one guy in high school. He was one of the popular kids in school, and we bonded over wrestling. And so being friends with him kind of helped me as well. And
Sure.
still to this day, like he got into wrestling after I got into wrestling, and like still to this day, we chat and like catch up whenever I go visit my mom in Fairfax, and like
That's
we'll just
cool.
talk. Yeah, it's just like, hey, remember in high school when we would just like sit in lunch and just talk about what The Rock and Stone Cold did that past week, and da, da, da. And he's like, yeah, and look at you now, like now you're working and you're doing WrestleMania and da da da. I was like, I know what the heck this. So it's just nice, like reminisce, but
That's so
also
cool.
actually have a friend, because I didn't have a lot of friends in
Yeah.
school. And it was very dark and lonely during those times.
Yeah.
That's where I learned a lot about counseling.
Yeah.
But it was hard. It was hard to transition into that. And also too, I felt the education system from California to DC, it's so different. So going to DC, I was put into like special ed classes because I just couldn't, where I was supposed to be for DC or Virginia standards I wasn't there.
Right.
So for a long time, like I was
so instead of holding you back, you went into special ed classes.
yeah.
And did it help? I mean,
It did.
Yeah.
It did. It definitely, like, I always say college was a turning point for me because that's when everything started to make sense. Everything in high school, I was, I don't know how, but by the time I finished high school, I was like a 3.1 or 2 GPA. And so I was like, I barely made the cut to even get a scholarship for volleyball. But even that, I was shocked that I even made it in the 3s. And then in college, I became like a 3.6. Like things just started making sense in college.
Right.
Whereas in high school, everything from math and history and science, like it just felt foreign to me.
well, and also you didn't learn the foundation the same way.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's tricky because you miss so much going from one school to another school, and they try to catch you up.
Yeah.
And
Not
it's
the
like
same.
kind of impossible
Oh
to
my
do
gosh.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel like, I wonder what life would have been, especially for my education, if I would have stayed in California. But because the system in Virginia was, in my opinion, just at a higher standard,
Right.
like, it worked out. And especially in college, like I went to college in Virginia too. So that, and I went to a HBCU, and I think that's when I really started to find myself because I was one out of 2 Asians on campus. So immediately everybody was like, "Oh my God, you're cool. Let's hang out." Like and you play volleyball? Come on, let's hang out and come hang out.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and I just felt
Yeah, you were just accepted right away.
Yes,
Yeah.
immediately.
Instead of
immediately.
feeling like the outsider, you were
Yeah.
a part of everything.
Yeah.
And
So-
sought after.
Yeah. That was the first time where I've actually felt
Yeah.
attractive. I was like, oh my God, the guys actually like me? I'm like, oh, that was only because I was
Mike is
mixed,
still
but-
calling you, by the way.
Sorry.
Mike is still calling you. I'm just saying. You were always attractive.
Thank you. I think just growing up always being, made fun of because I was
Sure,
different
that
or
you,
looked
you
different.
believed that,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is awful.
And
And you talk about the dark place that you went to, the way you say it. It must have been a really hard time.
you're gonna make me cry just going back to those times. Yeah, it was like I think dealing with the divorce and then the conflicts with my mom.
And is that why you wound up in Virginia? Like, because you said your mom wound up staying there. Was the divorce what?
So
Or was it your dad's job? Like, at
It was
what
my- it
point
was my
did your
dad's
dad-
job. They were still
How
together.
old were you when they?
Maybe like 12 or 13.
Okay.
Like right before the teen years.
It's tough.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah. And so we moved to Virginia for my dad's job.
Okay.
And then we were there for a couple years and then the divorce happened.
Okay. And then he left and went back to California, or
No, he made sure to stay close to us. So
Okay.
he got an apartment like a couple blocks down.
Oh,
So
okay.
he made sure to always be close to us no matter what. So that was really nice to just be like,
Yeah.
I'm mad at my mom, so I'm going to my dad's.
yeah,
But so it was like the divorce plus the, I feel like it's everybody gets made fun of in high school unless
Sure.
you were the popular kid or whatever. But not really feeling like I belonged in high school and just feeling so lonely and not knowing who to talk to. Cause even
even your sisters, you're not getting along with.
Right. And I went through a phase of like boy crazy. So I was always just, I had a boyfriend and then they break up with me and then I'd be like, ooh, and then I got another boyfriend and whatever. So like I noticed that when I was in high school, I attached myself to
Sure.
boys. Didn't do anything crazy.
But you felt it
You were
was
just looking
positive
for- yeah.
attention.
Yeah.
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 And you wanted to feel pretty and loved and wanted
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah.
But
And who
it's-
doesn't want that?
Right.
Right?
I think just going through that era and especially talking to there were some teachers that I was cool with and even telling them like how I felt, all of a sudden I get a call and I have to go to the counselor's room and they're like, if you're thinking about something, we have to call your parents. I was like, nope, I'm good.
Yeah.
So it's like
certainly
having
not
to
going to
keep-
say anything now. Right?
Right. So it's
now
just-
you're keeping it inside even more.
Yeah. So I did I used to I don't really have time for it anymore, but I used to really like drawing and art. I made a lot of dark arts back then.
It's okay. That's how it was coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It helped, but it was also it was no good when my mom found it. But it was just
So are you sure it wasn't good that she found it, or did she find it and then you got some help that you may have needed, or a conversation, or would it have been better to have stayed hidden from her?
I mean, I think it did help. I think she didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
So thankfully she didn't call anybody or anything, but even her trying to open up and talk to me about it, I didn't want to talk to her.
Right.
To me, she was the enemy. So I didn't want to
Yeah.
talk to her. I didn't want to talk to anybody in my family. I just wanted
You felt like she was the reason they got divorced.
I didn't know. And to this day, I still don't know what happened, but I also don't want to know.
Right.
I love them both very much, and I don't
Yeah.
want it
I
happened.
wasn't sure if that was the reason you were.
I think I was just resentful.
Okay.
It's like you knew what you were doing. I don't know what it was, but you broke the family, both of you. So F the both of you was my
Yeah.
mentality.
Yeah.
And I tested my mom more because I was scared of my dad.
Yeah.
So to this day, I'm still scared of my dad. I'm like, there were
I'm scared of
spankings
your
and
dad too.
Oh,
Yeah, honestly.
oh yeah. He would be scared of you. But like to this day, I'm still like, I got whippings back in the day
Sure.
and stuff like that. I'm like, now at least daddy, you can't catch me. So, but like I tested my mom a lot because I wasn't scared of her.
Yeah.
So it was easy for her. Like if she's like, what is this? Like, do you want to talk about it? I was like, I'm not talking about that with you. Like get out of my face. Like I was very disrespectful. But it was, I was very independent and I would rather deal with it by myself. And if I survived, then great. And if not, then great. So it was just one of those things like, if I make it through this period of time, cool. And if not, back then I was like, who's going to miss me anyway? Like, who cares? So
You thought you didn't matter. How did you finally get to the place where you know that you do?
I want to say once again in college with volleyball and wrestling, because that was when like I felt accepted. I felt like I mattered, and not even just on the court, but walking around campus, like just people saying hi, like seeing me. Hey, how are you, Steph? How are you? Like, you coming to this party tonight? Like actually getting invited to things. And then with wrestling, already having the structure of taekwondo, swimming, volleyball, like it was very easy for me to go with the training program. And then when the guys started to realize like, I'm not just here to make it on TV. Like I love this shit.
Right,
And
and I
I'm going to
always
stick
have.
through it.
Yeah.
No matter what you throw at me. And once they started to see I wasn't going nowhere, no matter how hard they were going to hit me, and then getting accepted is like, I felt like I finally, like, one, doing what I love, and two, doing what I love with people that actually respect and give a shit about me. So, yeah, I think sports and video games, but mainly sports definitely helped out a lot. For
And
sure.
when did you said you're big on counseling and therapy? When did that become a part of the equation?
So I got deep into that after a really bad relationship.
So not before then.
No.
So you've gone from probably your lowest low, all dealing with it by yourself, really not talking to anybody about it, but sort of turning the corner and feeling, empowered and a part of something, although there's probably still that unresolved piece of you who doesn't believe all of this is real. Because for some reason the stories that we can tell ourselves seem like they're the truth when it's not.
Yeah. And I'm where the older I get, the more I can understand my mindset and thought process. And I'm really good at, and it's always been since I was a kid, whenever something traumatic happens, I block it out and then I pretend that it never happened.
You compartmentalize it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there are some things that happen that people will come up to me like, I'm so sorry that this happened. And I was like, oh, I forgot that happened. Like,
Yeah.
damn. Oh, okay. Thanks.
Oh, that's right.
But
I did go through that.
yeah. So it was a lot of that in high school too, because I didn't trust anybody, even the counselors at school, of course. Like they just said they were
Right.
going to tell on me.
They basically said that right away.
Right.
Yeah.
So I already had the notion of I can't openly talk to them because I'm going to get committed into like a 72-hour hold or something. So I can't talk to you guys. I can't talk to the doctors. I'll just handle it on my own and we'll see what happens. But
And there wasn't like the help hotlines and things like that then, or you just still didn't trust it?
I did call, but I didn't feel comfortable enough to still be 100%. Like I still felt guarded. And to me, I think I just needed to find the right therapist as well, because I've been through so many. But I found one that I can really I know that she just wants me to be the best version of me,
You trust her.
100%.
Yeah.
And
it's not a financial situation or anything like that.
And
Yeah.
it just felt that like throughout my years, I'm like, okay, they just want the insurance
Right.
money and they don't really care. They're just taking notes to send it to my doctor. And like, you could tell when they're genuine versus when it's like, all right, well, they're just here for the hour. They're just
Yeah.
counting down the minutes,
Yeah.
you know? So I just, with me, to get through a lot of hard times, it's like, let me just, for an example, okay, let me just get through the next 3 days and then I'll be home with my dogs. Okay, I just got 3 days. So it's just,
Right.
even that's always been since I was a kid too. Like, okay, well, school sucks. People are making fun of me and throwing my food on the floor, so I can't eat today, but 3 days until it's Saturday and then I could sleep in and just not be around them for a little bit. So it's always just counting down like the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
That just kept me going.
It's important, that light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh yeah.
It really is
Yeah.
something to look forward to.
A little hope goes
Right,
a
a
long
little
way.
hope.
Yeah, I feel like that's a tactic or a
strategy.
skill,
It's a
right?
survival
That
skill, in my opinion, yeah.
that you figured out and it got you through until you could talk to someone like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad it worked out.
But so you have this incredibly successful college career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Surprisingly enough, like so for volleyball, Charlotte's played volleyball, Izzy played volleyball, and they're like 6'1" or 2. And
Right.
So I'm super short for volleyball standards, but my vertical,
Oh, yeah.
I could jump. I could jump. So
And I bet you're fast.
Ugh, yeah.
Yeah.
I learned, and I implemented it to wrestling too, where for volleyball, I learned every single position. So I'm mainly an outside hitter, but I could play middle, I could play oppo, I could play libero. I can't set if it saved my life, but I could do that if I needed. So I like to learn every single
Utility
position.
player.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just in case if it's like, oh crap, like our middle player just got hurt. Like,
I could jump in.
Right.
Yeah.
So using that to wrestling as well is like, I want to learn Japanese style. I want to learn lucha. I want to learn the UK style. Like I want to learn everything just so I know.
Yeah.
Because,
You
better
never
than-
know when you're going to need to use it.
Exactly. So for volleyball, like that really helped me, one, become a team player, understanding like the functions of a team, but also in college, I was co-captain. So having to lead the team. And so I
Yeah.
learned a lot of different aspects in college, both on the court and even in school too. Just with personal relationships and relationship with the teachers and things like that. It was, it was a good time.
Yeah, and networking.
Yes.
Too, right?
Yes.
And how important that is in
Oh.
life and your career.
Yeah, now before Twitter was barely popping off, so you had to exchange emails. And
Oh,
when
yeah.
I first started wrestling, and I met Sarah Del Rey and Daisy Hayes, and I was like, "What can I do to train with you guys?" Like, well, email me and we'll get immediately.
I know, yeah.
Immediately sent them an email and just waiting for like the notification,
Right.
But it's like instead of just tweeting at somebody or sending, we had to. Oh my God, we had to send tapes.
Yeah, actual tapes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
that you make in the big ass
Oh my God,
recorder.
Put it- yep.
Yeah.
Put it in the
Yep.
big envelope and send
Oh,
it.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the big envelope.
Oh my gosh, yep.
Please.
The manila folder with all your
I hope
stuff.
it gets there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, oh my gosh, I think I sent I think it was either to you. I hope you never find it.
I hope you do.
I remember it back in the day, you guys used to have like, send your fan mail too. And then you
Yeah.
guys had, so I sent a hate letter to you.
Oh,
I hope it
I remember it.
but I was like just learning how to write and everything, and I was
Well,
like,
I hope
hate-
maybe I was an outlet.
It was awesome. I was like honestly waiting for a letter back, like oh, I wonder if she's gonna write back, but
Do you remember what you wrote?
I don't. But it wasn't nice.
What?
But it was probably just like, I hate Stephanie. She's a bonehead. Da 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 da. I hope The Rock choke slams her to hell or something.
So funny.
But yeah, so it was back in those days without, because now it makes me so mad when everyone's like, let's just do this spot for the GIF and let's go viral. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me so mad. But that's the age of 2026 now. It's social
Yeah,
media.
yeah.
So I'm like, I cherish being able to go to school and actually going outside and playing and not being consumed by.
Right. What you have to do to make a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved the grind of having to send out emails and mailing out tapes
Yeah.
and seeing if I got into Shimmer or getting into the Ring of Honor school or,
And any place you went.
Yeah. So the grind really made the success much sweeter because it wasn't easy.
Yeah, and like I was just gonna say, getting like the nose, right?
Yes.
It just
That was
like,
never ending.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
That
send
was
out 10
never
more.
ending.
Like, just
Right.
give me one. Just give me that one.
Are you ready to hold WWE history in the palm of your hand? Topps is bringing you closer to the action than ever before with WWE Topps Now, highlighting the biggest matches and milestones from WWE shows and PLEs throughout the year. Topps Now is enhancing the fan experience by connecting collectors to the superstars and spectacles that ignite their passion. Featuring stunning event-exclusive photography, each card is made for the moment. And for some lucky collectors, that moment could become the pull of a lifetime. Along with serial numbered parallels, some Topps Now releases offer a chance at rare short prints, superstar autographs, and even pieces of the mat, gear, or other items used during the featured match. So which moments will you collect? With each card only available for a limited time, you won't want to wait to begin your Topps Now journey. Be sure to subscribe to the WWE Topps Now mailing list on Topps.com and follow Topps on all social media platforms so you never miss a single moment. And your dad was military, so do you think that did he teach you work ethic in any particular way?
100%. Well, like I said, I grew up on whoopings, so can't be late. I know, like,
And a whooping was
a belt, a switch from the
Flip-flop,
outside.
whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever was nearby.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it wasn't like.
But a
it-
real like whoop, like a just like a
Yeah,
lash.
like a quick
Yeah,
little,
yeah.
just to wake me up.
Okay.
Nothing abusive. It was nothing abusive.
Right,
it was
right.
just, I appreciate it because it.
I'm only
you
asking
know?
because everyone's definition.
Oh
of a
yeah,
whooping
no,
is
it was
different.
just a quick,
Yeah.
Why'd you do that? Pop, like a pop.
Yeah, like a wake up.
Yeah, just a quick pop. But it was enough for me to make sure that I made sure to never do drugs because my
Yeah.
dad, if I even weed, I was too scared to try it because I'm like, my dad's gonna kill me.
He's going to literally
Oh
kill
my
me.
gosh,
Yeah.
I think I took. I think I took my first sip of alcohol when I was like 18 or 19. So, and even then I was just like,
This is wrong.
yeah, yeah. But he was very strict
Yeah.
on punctuation, making sure that we were always on time. We had to come back inside from playing outside, like when the street lights came on. But once the street lights came on, you had 10 minutes to make it back home, or
yeah.
you're in trouble. But
You were close to the cul-de-sac, so you were all right.
Oh yeah, yeah. Once they came on, me and my sister sprinted home.
Yeah.
But it was that along with, growing up, said yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. No, we weren't allowed to be friends with boys. No boys allowed.
Sorry, Mike.
Mike has been cool. Like, me and Mike has always just been cool. But like it was, I think, because I've always, Shayna and Jay Duke are my best friends. They're like my sister. Leva is my sister. But for some reason, growing up, I've always been closer with the guys only because like I can go out and play football
You
with
could
them.
relate to them, yeah.
Yeah, like if they wanted to go skateboarding down the block, like I was gonna go down. I don't know how to skateboard. I'm gonna do it
relationships
anyway.
with guys are easier.
Yeah.
There's just less drama.
Yes.
And-
Now that I'm older, I feel like
Yeah.
Yeah.
less guys is great. But, but growing up, just trying to find a place to fit in,
Yeah.
I fit in more with the guys just because I wanted to be active and I wanted to,
Well, and you don't want people asking you all kinds of questions you don't want to answer.
Yeah.
Right? Like girls are going to try to get in your business.
yeah.
Guys in a different way.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was just being one of the guys. Like
Yeah.
even being with the OC, I'm one of the guys. And it's great until it's whenever there's a situation. So back in California, I remember there was a situation where like all the kids were playing in the cul-de-sac, and then this so stereotypical, like this, we've never seen it before, a white van just like slow driving like past us. and like all the guy kids like surrounded the girls. It was just like,
Really?
yeah. So like, yeah, they're still, it was safe.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
felt safe. So it was cool. It's
That's
always
really cool. Oh my God, I just got goosebumps
Yeah.
thinking about that.
Little things like that. And even with the OC, like I'm one of the guys, but anytime we do meet and greets and there's a drunk guy that's like, I want to take a picture with her, they would sandwich me in. It's like, nope, you're staying on the out. Like I just feel protected when
Yeah.
I'm with like some close friends.
Yeah.
Especially with guys. But shoot, now that I'm best friend with Shayna and J. Duke, I still get the same thing. I
you're
still get the
fine.
same thing. Yeah, it's great. But yeah, it was a lot easier just interacting with guys, making guy friends and just like kicking it with the guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we started to get into how you found your therapist. If you're comfortable talking about sort of what led you, what happened after college? Or when did you meet this man?
We met in either 09 or 10. It's one of those things where I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't talked about it in so long that I'm like, I got to go back and think. But it was, I think, 09 or 10. And
I'm sorry, that's after college?
yes. So after college, I'm trying to remember. I moved to, when did I move to Orlando? So it was around like the 2013 time.
Okay, because you were doing both. You were at the
Yes.
same time. That's why it's a little
So
confusing.
I finished college in 12. So I met him, I think in 13.
Okay.
So in 13, we met. And then I was still living in Virginia at the time because during that period, the tri-state area, the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia, that was starting to boom with wrestling. And then you had the other tri-state, Philly, Jersey, and New York was 2-3 hour drive from me. So I was making drives every weekend. I was like, I'm gonna stay in Virginia just
Yeah,
because this is a good wrestling area.
Central, yeah.
Yeah,
Good
and I was
hub.
training.
Yeah.
But with the PC being in Orlando, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe I think we have a partnership with TNA. So can I say TNA?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can say anything you want.
Okay. Thanks. So, and I know TNA was based in Universal at the time. So all the big like TV wrestling was in Orlando. So I meet my ex and we go, I moved to Orlando and just,
And was he a part of the business?
yes.
Okay.
And so went down to Orlando and just with hopes of possibly making it on TV, whether it's WWE, TNA, I needed some TV experience.
Yeah.
But moved down to Orlando and it was great at first. But then, just I think once I moved, that's when things went downhill because it was just,
You were living together
yeah, it was just I think,
and married?
no.
No. Okay.
I realized,
But you were reliant on him.
yeah, like we both had jobs and we both were wrestling. It was fine. We were training together. It was just, now that I'm out of it, it was one of those things where it's like, damn, I really was isolated. And I give credit to my other best friend, Leva, who was there. And we knew each other, but we weren't close until I moved to Orlando. And she was like, anytime I just needed to get away, I went to hers.
Yeah.
And she always made sure that like I had a bed there and was able to just go there. But yeah, pretty much going to therapy. What led me going to therapy was it was a violent relationship, and it was hard because, like it's to the point now. It's been long enough, and I've been doing therapy long enough where like everything happens for a reason. I learned a lot from it, and I forgive. Yeah, I forgive
Wow.
everybody. But it was sorry, I'm stuttering a lot, but
No, you're
it
not
was
stuttering, and it's obviously so hard for you to talk about because it happened to you.
yeah.
And yes, there's of course a great learning and everything happens for a reason, but to live through violence that is directed at you by someone that you love
Yeah.
is something that most people, or hopefully a lot of people, can't relate to, but I do know it happens all the time.
Yeah.
And domestic abuse is a very, very serious situation. And I applaud you for being willing to talk about it in any form that you have talked about it, and for always supporting women who are in these situations because, you know, like I've heard you say, you know, and it's one of the lessons I try to teach my girls and all girls, you need to be financially independent.
Yes.
You need to be able to provide and support yourself so that should you, God forbid, wind up in a situation where that's bad, you can get out. You know, and a lot of women can't because they feel, well, A, they're sort of manipulated, right? They are, the pattern is to be kept away from your family, from anybody who loves you. You are isolated. You are then, you know, it's psychological manipulation and then physical abuse on top of that. It's, and so many women can't get out.
I always try to, like, it sucked at the time. Well, it sucks all around, but it's one of those things where when it was happening to me, what made me want to be vocal about it and tell my story was when I would go and open up to my fellow coworkers or anytime I have Shimmer, like just kind of break down and like, it was so much pressure at home that once I left, like I just couldn't help but break down. And
Yeah, it had to come out.
yeah. And so it would just come out. And so many of the girls that I work with, like, oh yeah, I've been there. Like, what? It's like, yeah, we like the common thing that pissed me off about it all is the fact that as women wrestlers, when we go through that, all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, you're a wrestler. Like that's
Right.
like that you should be used to that.
Don't
like,
you
why
get beat
are
up all the time?
Right. And it's exactly. And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, but the difference between being in the ring and being at home is consent. Like I'm
Yeah.
consenting to a wrestling match. I'm not consenting to getting
Right.
choked
And
out
by
at
the
home.
way, what we do is entertainment.
Right.
It doesn't actually happen.
Right. So seeing all of these girlfriends of mine, like, yeah, you know, we go through it too, but like, what can we say? You know, we wrestle guys too. What can we say? And it's like, fuck that.
Right?
Absolutely not, because that's why it keeps
That's why
happening.
it keeps happening.
And so I'm so glad
It's this like defeatist mentality.
yeah. And I understand their point of view because I felt that way, but
Sure.
it was also, I think the
Because you're made to feel that way.
yes. And this was before the Me Too movement. And I was like, I don't care what is said about, and there, you know, a lot of people has talked trash about me since talking about it. And at the end of the day, it's like, I need to put this message out because there's a woman that's having an intergender match this weekend that's getting beat up at home, but she feels like she can't say anything because she has this freaking match with a guy. And now she's worried about all these other wrestlers laughing at her because she can't defend herself at home. But then if she defends herself at home, then she's the abuser. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's such a
vicious
double-edged
cycle.
sword, a vicious cycle. And the mental, oh my God, the mental toll. Like I usually walk around 135, 140. During that time, I was like in my early 120s, like weight. Like and everybody, which also is another thing. I was like, oh my God, you look great. Like your abs are popping. And I'm like, thanks. And in my head, I'm like, it's because I'm just not hungry. I'm so stressed that I just wasn't eating. I wasn't hungry. So it was a lesson, but I really just wanted to use my own lesson, but also platform it and tell the other women wrestlers, like, yeah, even though you're a wrestler and you may wrestle guys, you may do hardcore matches, this is not okay.
Yeah, well, that's not the same thing.
It's not.
It's not the
But
same
you're
thing.
always going to hear these douchebags on Twitter or whatever saying dumb shit. Sorry. but saying all this dumb
Don't be
stuff.
sorry. Like people
It just
don't
pisses
know.
me off because they don't exactly.
Yeah,
they don't know.
and they're just trying to get a reaction
Yeah.
or rage bait or whatever it's called, and
Yeah.
we just shouldn't pay them attention.
You are
right?
correct. You are correct.
also-
You're almost as
But
good as my
easier said than
therapist.
done, though.
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
But it's like, thankfully for therapy, like I'm able to tackle, like I'm still working through it. Like I think that relationship and that whole experience changed who I am, which I look back and that's one of the reasons why I still cry about it, because back then I think I was naive, but I thought the world was not as bad. Like, I still have to deal with the stuff that my dad has been through and
Right,
things
right.
like that. But to me, it's like, I just want to wrestle and I just want to play volleyball and I just want to make friends and da-da-da. And then going through that was like, this is what life is.
Right.
And I just want to wrestle. And now I have to go to work and get made fun of because of, like, it hardened me to a point
Who
where
made fun of you like on top of social media? And I don't mean names or anything.
oh yeah,
but
no. It was just a lot of like I always try to I don't like to when I'm mutual friends, like when we're friends with both of us, I don't like to be like it's either me or him or you
Right,
got to
right,
pick a
right.
side.
So mutual friends would be the ones who would make fun of you?
Some of them, like there's some that stood by me and ultimately like cut the friendship off, but then there were others that's like you're lying, like why, like you got that in a match last week, like that mark on your neck, you got that last week, like you're lying, why are you saying that? It's like I don't waste my energy arguing back,
Yeah.
because to me, if you're gonna tell me that I'm lying or I'm making
Right. Then
fun
you're
of,
not going to believe anything you say. anyway.
right, so
it's
I'm
not worth it.
I just clock it in my head. It's like, okay, well now I know that you're not safe to be around. So
And how awful that it was normalized like that.
Yeah, that's
That's what's blowing my
yeah.
mind.
Back
That
then-
anybody would say that. That anybody would say that.
the unfortunate thing, which I know you both understand, is as women, we're always going to be at fault. No matter what, we're always going to be at fault. Whether if a relationship don't work, it's our fault. If we get divorced, it's our fault. So am I surprised? No, because at the end of the day, we always get the shit end of the stick, no matter what, unless, freaking people didn't believe P. Diddy until the video came out.
Right. Yeah.
So, and even when the video came out, it's like, okay, but what did she do to deserve that ass
deserve
whooping?
that,
It's like,
right.
all right. So it's unfortunately just a part of being a woman.
I'm so sorry that you had to endure everything that you went through. And I'm sure you were so much more vulnerable because of all of the unresolved issues that you already were carrying.
Yeah.
And I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
And I'm grateful you're on the other side, although still working through it,
Oh, yeah.
because you can never undo what somebody has done to you.
It's always going to stick with me, which is why I put it in the back of my mind. But I always, talking to my therapist now and working through all of that, it's like looking back, how old am I? Looking back 10 years ago to now, it's like, I'm still me, but damn, I'm such a strong person now that I know the signs, I know how to protect myself. I know if I see my friends
You
red
probably
flags,
see it much more clearly with your
Yes.
friends.
Oh, my
Unfortunately, they don't listen.
yeah, but
Yeah.
the best thing that I can do is no matter what, even if, because I had to cut off Shelton, I had to cut off all my close friends. It's to let them know hey, no matter what happens, even if I don't talk to you for years, I'm always going to be here. So just know I'm always going to be here, even if you can't talk to me or won't talk to me or whatever, I'll be here. So it's just letting them know that when they are ready, I'm here.
Yeah.
You can't force somebody to.
That's right.
And there's so many, I think it was an average of 7 times before a woman actually can leave. So I know
So can you explain that a little bit?
So because of the mental manipulation and just being trapped, whether it's financial or emotional or mental, physical sometimes, a woman leaving a violent relationship, it takes them on average 6 or 7 times, 6 or 7 attempts before they can finally leave. So that's why you see a lot of women, they leave and then they come back, and then they leave and then they come back. And then it can be frustrating to the friends, but it's just the cycle of survival for them.
You don't
Right.
mean to not get out of it. You're trying,
Right.
but
Exactly.
But
and
for whatever reason, they suck you back in, and I'm so sorry, and I didn't mean it, and I'm a horrible person. and-
yeah.
yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's why, like, after going through it myself and now being able to see certain signs, like within my friends, it's always like, hey, I'm gonna love you no matter what.
Right.
I'm gonna support you no matter what. I'm always gonna be here because I know that in my situation too, whenever people would tell me you need to leave, it would make me want to stay.
Even
like
more.
I don't need to leave. I'm good. I can
What do
protect
you mean
myself.
leave?
Like
Yeah.
yeah, it was that concept of leaving was not even a thought.
Well, and the abusive pattern, right, is there's a lot of rewards too.
I also
Right?
love bombing, and
Yeah.
we had a dog at the time, and dogs are my life.
I
so
love
I
dogs
wasn't
too.
gonna.
Yeah, we all
Your-
relate.
I was
Yeah.
about to say your
Yeah.
dog is.
I have two.
I want a bull mastiff so bad.
Oh my
because
gosh,
of you.
yes. Well, I grew up with bull mastiffs, and now we have mastiffs. Oh, yeah, they're slightly bigger.
Pretty.
massive.
But yeah, so I was like, I'm not leaving my dog. I will. This is gonna sound so messed up, but I'm like, you can put your hands on me as much as you want, but once you put your hands on my dog, like we're gone.
Yeah.
Like, so that happens, and it's just like I couldn't leave my dog. I refuse to leave my dog. My dog is my baby.
Yeah.
So if I have to stay in a violent
You couldn't
relationship,
take the dog.
I
Gonna use
You
it
didn't think
against
about
you
it.
or-
I was broke.
Yeah.
I was
You couldn't.
Yeah, I was wrestling, wrestling on the weekends and working a 9 to 5, but even there were times where I would go, Leva would be out of town or something, and I would just go stay at a rickety Holiday Inn or something for $50 for 2 nights or whatever, and just bring my dog. But that was going into my emergency credit card fund.
Right.
So like I couldn't leave. It was either just suck it up until I could figure out what to do or go back to Virginia. And even if I went back to Virginia, I couldn't bring my dog.
Right.
So I wasn't leaving my dog no matter what. So it was a lot of debt that I went into just trying to have, just get away for a night or something. And then figuring out what to do with my dog, and yeah.
So how did you get out?
Thankfully, I blocked it out so much. There was a time where I filed a restraining order after an incident. I got locked in a closet, and so the closet didn't have a lock on it. So I didn't know how I think he put something in front of the door or something, but like I got locked in a closet, and I was able to break my way out of it. And reactively, like it's in the closet and I didn't have my phone. So in the closet, what went through my head was if I don't get out of here, my parents are getting a phone call that I'm dead. And immediate rage, because it's like I refuse to give him the power to hurt my parents. Like, you can hurt me, but I'm very big on don't hurt the people that I love.
Right.
So I just got blacked out, broke out of the closet, and once I saw him, I just went after him. But of course, he overpowered me and then used a towel to choke me. And then after that happened,
Did you lose consciousness?
no, I fought back because he was on top of me, and he mounted my chest area. I couldn't really move aside from my hands, which the only thing I could grab. So desperation, I did that, and then he, of course, how could you do that? And that's fucked up. I was like, bro, okay. And after that incident, that's when I finally filed a restraining order, was able to get out. I had to, I, 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 I didn't know if he would pop up wherever I was, because I was doing a lot of local shows in the Orlando area. So I wasn't sure if he was going to pop up. I wasn't sure if he was going to get a gun. I wasn't sure what was going to happen. So I immediately just wanted to pack myself and leave, go somewhere. And found a super cheap apartment. I got help from someone else, and like Shelton has helped me a lot with, always, even though he was living in Texas, he's like, you let me know, I will buy you a flight and you stay with me as long as you need. But once again, I'm like, I can't leave my dog,
Right.
and it was an English bulldog, so they can't fly. And I couldn't afford to.
I didn't know they couldn't fly.
Yeah. I wonder if it's different now, but back then, like they're high risk. So
Yeah.
there's a possibility that they could pass just from like flying.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So all like the Frenchies and the bulldogs, like those squishy
little
nose
squish
dogs.
face,
Yeah.
yeah.
Those
Right.
are high risk. And I was like, I can't, like, I thought about it, but I'm like, I knew to get to me, he's going to do something to my dog. And I could not leave her. So that was a turning point for me when,
And you felt like it was truly life or death. Something came over you and you felt it in your gut and you knew you had to get out.
yeah.
And that was reinforced when he had that towel around your neck.
Yes, that was the first time that that thought went across my head that like my family's gonna get a phone call, and that I think that changed something in my mind. That's like, I'm done.
And how many times had you tried to leave before that?
4, like it never got to the point where I actually left, but like
Yeah,
There
so
were
how
plenty-
so this moment happens and now what?
after that, I just like keeping cool, keeping calm, but in my head, I'm going over a game plan. I'm making a to-go bag. I'm Googling like how, and he would go through my phone or whatever. So like I will Google how to file, because I didn't know how to do
Sure,
any of
sure.
that.
Yeah.
Google it and then erase my history.
Right.
And like, so I'm coming up with these plans, and even like Shelton was helping me like, hey, make sure you look into this and look into that, like da. So once he went to work, or like I think it was either work or wrestling or something where he was gone for the day, I went and filed.
Good for you.
Yeah, it was rough, but at the end of the day, like I don't think I could have made it out without the support system that I had at the time.
Yeah. It matters.
Very much, because for once, even though for an example with Shelton, even though I had to cut him off, like I couldn't be friends with him anymore. The minute I
Because
told
of the relationship you mean.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was dictated to you to not be friends with him.
yes. And so when I finally reached out and told him everything, and immediately he was just like, "You let me know what you need. Like I know I'm not there, but I am here." So him just kind of talking me through everything and let me know that, one, I'm not alone, which is why I emphasize to anyone else that's in trouble, I emphasize they're not alone, because that
Even though
helped.
they feel they are.
Yes. And that changed everything for me, because that moment was like, I have to fight. Like, I have to fight
For
because
yourself.
yes, like people love me, and I refuse.
And I matter.
Yeah. It was eye-opening to see just how many people, when my friends started to realize what was going on, how much they really helped me physically, mentally. Like Leva made sure that I had a place to stay that freaking night, and like let me bring my dog over, even though she got cats. And so like it just seemed like the community like came together to make sure that I was safe and okay.
Yes.
And it was it really made me feel like I mattered and I'm loved, and people would actually care if something happened to me. So
Yeah.
yeah.
They showed up.
Yeah.
And how did you meet Shelton?
Chicken wings. This was in, I want to say 2010 or 11. Like I just started like doing shows, and this one show in Maryland, they brought in, I think I wrestled Mickey James, and they brought in Shelton and Charlie. And I think because they brought in all of the WWE people, they actually had catering, which normally they didn't. What?
What a treat.
Yeah. So of course I have my plate and I'm like in line for the chicken wings, and then Shelton's right behind me, and we both go to grab a chicken wing
At the same time?
Yeah, and it was just like we just each
that's
took,
mine.
Right. So we each took a chicken wing and just like kind of like ate and then like started talking with each other. And I don't know how it diverted to the relationship we have now, where we just insult each other all the time. But it felt natural.
Yeah.
And like from the jump, I felt like he watched my match with Mickey and immediately was like, oh, she actually cares about this. Like
Yeah.
she's doing this because she loves it, not because she just wants to be on the cover of magazines or whatever. Like she actually is passionate about this. So I think him seeing that, he's always given me advice from, oh my gosh, he's another one where I would say stuff to like the younger generation of wrestlers, like, oh my God, I'm Shelton now.
Shelton.
I would make fun of him for being like the old school guy. And I was like, I just want to wrestle. I don't care about making money. I just want to wrestle and have great matches. He's like, oh, your body, once you hit 30, he's like, you gotta make sure you wrestle for longevity and psychology and make sure you
Right.
So he would always like hone in because he knew I wanted to be in WWE. So he
Right.
made sure to tell me about like the psychology of my matches, why I did this, why didn't I do this, and and like kind of make sure that I was TV ready.
That's so great.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
in my head I'm like, I don't care. Let me gig. I'm
Right,
ready to
right,
freaking
yeah.
like I don't care.
I'll do anything.
Exactly. And now like I'm talking to the younger generations. I'm telling them the same things. I'm like,
yeah.
I always text Shelton. I was like, thanks, Shelton. For what? Your advice helped once again. Now it's reflecting off of me to them.
That's
So,
great.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he's been in my life since almost 2 decades now. So that's my
very
brother.
cool.
My family loves him. He's
Yeah.
my family.
Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah.
love that. I didn't
Yeah.
know that. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, we're tight.
Yeah.
Tight.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I always say like that's my big brother. My family loves him. It's my dad tried to get him and my sister to get together.
Oh.
Yeah. Thank God for
Big
E.
E,
right?
yeah.
Thank God for E.
He stepped in there.
Save the day.
But
But
he's
he
a
does
part-
love your sister, Biggie. Because
Oh,
we interviewed him over the
Yeah.
summer.
Yeah,
Right?
SummerSlam.
Yeah. And he was like, you could tell the hearts in his eyes.
good. 'Cause
Yeah.
Once they got together, it's funny because me, Kofi, and Woods talk about it all the time because like getting to know E, very like wasn't interested in relationships, just wants to
Right,
like do
right.
his own thing. And then my sister was very much the same way, and she has rightfully so high standards in a man. So once she sees a red flag, she's out.
That's it.
She don't care.
Yeah.
which I love that about
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
And so in my head, I'm like, there's no guy for her because she deserves the perfect guy.
Yeah.
And so when they met, because they met at, so I introduced them at WrestleMania, I think it was in Hollywood a couple years ago when
Oh,
they
wow.
actually like met, and then they got to hang out at Bianca's premiere for her,
Oh, yeah,
her
the-
love
for
show.
the show,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so they actually got to like sit together and talk, and I felt like I was cock blocking because like we had somewhere to go. I was like, I'm so sorry, but like we gotta go.
We gotta go.
Yeah, but they were able to like exchange numbers and stuff, and then it started to flourish. And I was like, from the jump, like perfect match.
Yeah.
I think individually they were their own people, and they were okay being alone.
Yeah.
But now that they found each other, they were just like the perfect match.
That's so great.
I love seeing my sister in love, and he's such a great guy.
He is
Yeah.
a great guy.
And he's really good at Scrabble.
Yeah.
And my family has been trying to beat him.
So Scrabble's your family game.
Scrabble is his game, but my dad is really good at it, and my
Okay.
sister is really good at it. Not good enough.
Not good
So
enough.
the goal is they got to beat E.
They got to be E.
hasn't
So
happened yet.
did you grow up playing Scrabble though? Like as a family?
I didn't.
No.
I
It happened
wasn't-
later.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know. Like my dad has always loved those kind of games. And
Were
my
there
sister-
family games?
There were, but it was like the games that we used to play.
Uh-oh.
I'm scared.
No, I'm just like aging myself. But we used to play together like the Nintendo 64. We would play like Mario Kart.
Yep.
And I am having a brain fart, but it's like a board game, but with Mario. Yes, Mario Party.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Thank you,
So we
Joe.
would
Thank
play
you.
like the Nintendo 64 games together.
Okay.
And then our next door neighbor in LA so we were the Nintendo 64, they were like the PlayStation.
Okay.
So we would go over to his house and play like Dance Dance Revolution or like Tomb Raider and
Right,
stuff like
right.
that. So we would play the PlayStation games next door and then the Nintendo 64 games. So me and my sister used to play WrestleMania 2000, Nintendo 64 all the time.
Wow.
So yeah, it would, good times. I would beat you up a lot.
I love that I
I know.
was fuel for your fire.
But yeah, we used to be a really like, before the divorce, we were very tight knit. Then the divorce happened and we all like lost our minds. And then after college, now
Came
we're
back
all
together.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause even after
And I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
What did your parents say when they found out what you had been through?
Oh gosh. I will never forget like it's crazy because with my parents, like I knew my parents were gonna be heartbroken, and they were. But it still like, oh my God. I remember when my sister found out, and like we were on the phone and she immediately just started crying. Like, how could this happen? Like, why? Like, not to me, but like I could tell that her she was thinking out loud.
Yeah.
And she just started crying, and it like broke me. And I think that's when it was like,
And was that before you left or after?
this was, I want to say this was after, because when I filed, it was challenged. When I filed, it was challenged, and I had documentation of like all the marks and everything. But of course, I'm like, I don't know how much this is gonna do because
I'm a
he can
wrestler.
easily exactly
right.
and so we had to go to court, so I can fight to keep it in place. And having to go to court, I'm like, I have to tell my family. I'm like, damn, I have to tell my family. So then because I wasn't gonna tell them.
Were you embarrassed?
Yeah, I was, because
Though you shouldn't have been, but
right. No, I
can't help how you feel and how you're made to feel.
yeah. I think
Even to have it challenged,
yeah. It was just
for him to call you a liar.
yeah. It was one of those things where it was like and I always make it a joke with the family, but being the oldest, I feel like I'm the firstborn son. So I have to be the protector now. Now that my parents are older and my sister, is younger than me, I have to be the protector.
That's the
so,
role, yeah.
Yeah, but having to tell them that like, yeah, I know I'm supposed to be the protector of the family, but like, hey, by the way, I'm getting beat at home, but I can still protect you guys. It was embarrassing for that, but also they knew the matches that I was having.
Right?
So I didn't know if they were going to react like,
If they were going to believe you.
yeah, but they never questioned it.
Yeah,
they
I'm
never
sure.
questioned it. So it was reassuring to know that my family, still had my back, but it was still embarrassing to, I'm the most in shape in the family and I'm the most active and I can't, daddy put me through Taekwondo and I was doing Muay Thai and all this other stuff and I can't protect myself at home. So like, what is all that for,
That's
So
how
it's
you
just-
felt.
Yeah, I just felt like a weak fraud. So
You are anything but that.
thank you.
Have you been able to get to a place where you see that now?
Yes.
Good.
I am in a really good place now. Like therapy has helped me through so much.
Good.
I'm happy. I feel love every time I get to come home, but also go to work, like just being surrounded by my coworkers and my friends, you
Yeah.
know, and they all know like what I've been through, but I do feel worthy and powerful and that I
Loved.
belong and
Yeah.
loved.
And can you love yourself?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Good, good, good.
It took me a while, but I
It's
love
always the
myself
hardest
very-
lesson.
It really is. It really is.
Well, I'm sorry you had to go through so much. And I'm so proud of you and grateful for you. And you're setting this incredible example for all young women, you know, and for men too, whoever's in an abusive situation. It's important to get help
Yes.
and to know you're not alone. And what are some of the other key messages?
That even though you feel alone, you are not. There are people, your support system is always going to be there. There is outlets too. Like I say, I praise therapy. That if it wasn't for therapy, I wouldn't be here. So that really helps a lot if they're comfortable talking to people, but there's, you're not alone. And there are people that you can talk to feel, you could talk to people.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like,
It's
if I
hard.
can-
It's hard when you don't trust,
yeah.
right?
But
Hard to trust when the
Yes.
person you trust the most supposedly
right.
is the one doing that to you.
Yeah. So it's okay. Like it's okay to be guarded and to protect yourself and to not know where you stand in a room full of people. But at the end of the day, like there are family, friends, and even, people like me that I want people to know that you are believed. Like I believe you, I believe in you, and if I can make it out, you can too. Like it's possible. It is possible. Just hold on to the light at the end of the tunnel.
Hold on to that light. That's so important.
Mm-hmm.
So here you are. The weekend is coming fast.
Yep.
WrestleMania is almost here.
Yep.
And you are a part of an angle that is really high profile, right? And I don't know, like the three of you guys seem to have some great chemistry. So I really am hoping that this has legs, right? How are you feeling about it?
Says it all.
Well, oh man, this is the first time, like I love the hustle and bustle of WrestleMania week. And I think for the past 3 Manias, it always fell on my birthday. Like my birthday is tomorrow, but
Happy early birthday.
Birthday.
thanks. But I always forget because like WrestleMania is priority. So until people's like, happy birthday, it's like, oh
yeah, that's right.
Exactly. But this is probably the first time that the possibility of even being actually a part of the show.
It's so exciting.
Oh my God.
It's everything.
It is.
Right?
Because I went through in WWE, like I love what I do. I love being here and I love just wrestling and hanging out with my friends. But there was a moment where I'm like, I'm never gonna have a WrestleMania moment, and that's okay, because I'm still living my dream. And for this to happen, and it happened so fast, like I feel like that always
Right.
happens.
Yeah. Right.
So fast out
Yeah.
of nowhere that I'm like, oh my God, there's an actual possibility that I can do something at WrestleMania. I'm like, what?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so even if it's just coming out on Jade's entrance or getting involved in any way or anything, that is more than what I ever thought was ever going to happen to me. So I'm excited. I love that I get to finally be a heel.
So much more fun, by the way.
So
even though
much-
you there are little girls who are rooting against you, apparently, wishing horrible things,
Writing
writing
letters.
letters.
I know. That's why I'm like, if I ever meet them, I will be the biggest sweetheart. But it's so much fun that like before I just got out of an injury. So I'm like, well, there, you know, whatever I was doing before, like that's dead and over with. And I guess I'll just hope for the best and see what happens, but we'll see. And then that's when they told me in BFAB,
Yeah.
"Hey, you're joining Jade." It's like, Jade, the
Wait,
champion
Jade
Jade?
card.
Like, it's like, oh, we can, because even we would take pictures together just backstage, just
Oh,
for
really?
us. And
The three of you?
yeah, like
Really?
we did some, we did like a random backstage or promo or something, and we took pictures afterwards. And just like with our own style, it still worked.
Something about the three of you together works.
Yeah.
It really does.
And a lot of people wanted us to dress the same. And Jade has her own style of like,
I mean, damn.
yeah. So I'm like, me as a tomboy, baggy pants and a crop top, like I'm good. Like sneakers, you ain't gonna see me in heels. I'll break my ankles. But Jade is doing all this stuff in stilettos, and then you got BFAB wearing like thigh high heels,
Right.
looking fly, and I'm like, well.
Here's me.
Yeah, it's like I'll just, you know, I'm comfortable in
But
this.
you've
and-
upgraded your whole look too.
Did I?
Oh yeah, you have.
I just
when
snatched the
I
wig
think
off.
about you from NXT to where
Yeah.
you are today,
Yeah.
I mean, there is a huge difference.
It's all about just being authentic.
Yeah.
I think it was just putting a mask on and like NXT was me, but I had to rev it up like
Sure.
to the max where it just came off fake. And now without, you know, I don't have the wigs, I don't have the blue hair. I can wear whatever I want and feel comfortable and not judged. And that's something that me and the girls have talked about, where it's like, if I wear the clothes that you guys wear, it's going to be obvious that
It's
I'm
not
not
gonna- you're not gonna be comfortable.
Like
Yeah.
you can tell
It's
I
not
will
me.
not be comfortable.
Yeah.
Trying to picture you in one of her fur.
I mean, it might be
pieces.
funny.
I know.
I mean that we could save that for a cute little video.
Yeah, there we go. That could be fun. That could be fun. See,
But-
social media viral moment.
Exactly.
You got it.
Hey, we can do that. I'm down with that. But so having the conversation of like, hey, just letting you, because in TNA I had to wear the skirts and being super cutesy / sexy with the dollhouse, which was a great experience, but
It wasn't you.
it wasn't. And
Yeah.
I felt like I was wrestling in a clown suit
Yeah, because
because
it just wasn't you.
yeah, and it was to the point where the reason why I don't wear super sexy stuff anymore, especially when I'm being physical, is I remember in TNA, I still wrestled the same, but I had to wear a skirt. I did the German bridge, and then the match was great, but then when I finished and everybody was just talking, like people were taking upskirt photos from just that part. And ever since then, I just felt violated.
Yeah.
And
No,
I'm
it's
just
the
like,
worst.
I don't like, that's not me anyway. So I'm just
Yeah.
gonna stick with like, I like the old school 90s, early 2000s, like baggy pants, like Aaliyah look.
Yeah.
And I told them like, listen, like I think our own individual styles still work together. It's like the Spice Girls.
Yeah.
It's like together we look great, but individually we still look great too.
Yeah,
So
and-
there's no
and
need
you're
to
your
change.
own people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no reason to change anything. Like, yeah, we
Yeah.
can wear the same colors, but let's wear our own stuff because it still works.
Yeah.
So I'm really enjoying this group and enjoying being a heel and getting to be with a champion and seeing how she is how do I say? She lives the high life. I'm taking notes. She's drinking the Fiji water, and I'm
All
like,
right,
I'll take the tap. It's cool. I'm like, that's cool.
Well, I can't wait to see where you go, what you do, how far this group goes. And, you know, I'm just always a big fan and supporting you. And especially, you know, given everything you've been through and who you are and how kind you are and just your heart and soul.
You.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to see what me and the group do. And
Yes.
I'm still praying for a Stephanie slap one day. It's gonna happen. That's a bucket list, please.
No,
bucket
no,
list.
no,
Yeah.
no,
Pop my eardrum, please.
no.
Please. It'll be an honor.
She wants it.
That slap I did to freaking Jimmy, that was inspired by you.
It was a good one.
Listen. Michael was telling me, he's like, don't mess up. I was like, don't worry, I got Stephanie
it.
up here.
I've got somebody
like
back
channeling
there.
in my inner Stephanie.
That's awesome.
Thank you so much for having me.
No,
This is
thank
awesome.
you. Thank you.